Welcome into a Week 16 edition of Buffalo Bills Weekly, where we give you the lowdown on everything happening at One Bills Drive. He's Chris Brown, I'm Maddy Glab. In this week's episode, we'll reveal how Bills offensive coordinator Joe Brady had his best game yet, how the Bills defensive line can build off a great performance, and more. Bills head coach Sean McDermott now has at least 11 wins in 5 straight seasons. He's just the 5th NFL head coach to do so. Since he came here in 2017, he's built a great culture, became an awesome leader, and knows how to develop players, Chris.
Yeah, and I've said it all along, I haven't seen a better player development coaching staff here since the Marv Levy days. And look, it's a daily growth mindset that he preaches to his players. Brandon Beane finds the talent and guys with the right Bills DNA, as he says, that can subscribe to that daily growth mindset. The coaches get their hands on them and they maximize every player's ability on the roster. And what you see is a complete team on the field every week.
Joe Brady maximized his players last week against Detroit. Brady had his best performance yet as an offensive coordinator. He got different players involved. Running back Ty Johnson led the receivers. Yes, a running back did this. The group is hitting their stride right now, and they've got some great rhythm with 3 weeks left in the regular season. What did Brady do to flash against the Lions?
Well, first he identified the matchups and where he felt that his offense had the advantages, Ty Johnson being one of them. But I think he saw that the Lions very often stay in base defense, 3 linebackers on the field. He saw that they could exploit that with the running backs and the tight ends. That group goes for 14 for 251 yards and a touchdown. And then second, down in the low red zone, the misdirection he used with the read option game led to 3 walk-in touchdowns. He really just match schemed with his matchup advantages. It wasn't just, hey, Ty Johnson, you can beat a linebacker, go beat him. He used scheme in addition to the mismatches he saw with his personnel and just called a beautiful game.
In terms of hitting their stride right now, Brady said it has to do with the chemistry inside of this locker room. He said Josh Allen is the guy who leads us, and the offensive line has done a great job of setting the tone and having a selfless mindset. Buffalo's defense set the tone for the entire team last week against Detroit because they forced a 3-and-out on the first drive and a punt on the next drive. It was led by the defensive line. Defensive tackle Ed Oliver had a great performance, 10 quarterback pressures, a season high for him. He had attitude and really forced quarterback Jared Goff into making quick decisions. What did the defensive line do to have this type of day?
Well, the first thing they did was they neutralized Detroit's power run game with David Montgomery, so much so that they sat Montgomery down by the time they got to their third possession, tried to go with a speed element with Jahmyr Gibbs instead, had a little bit of success there, but with getting those early stops on Detroit's first 2 possessions and the offense sprinting out to a 14-0 lead, that is where Buffalo wants to live. That is their philosophical approach to a game. Let the offense get an early lead. Now the defense can use their pass rush because the opponent is one-dimensional. They have to throw to keep up with you. And so what happened? We saw Buffalo's pass rush eat. Ed Oliver spearheaded it, as we know. But at the end of the game, Jared Goff is on his back 3 times for sacks, and they got 25 quarterback pressures on him.
Wow.
It's the most he has been pressured all season long. It led to incompletions. It helped them get off the field, and at the end it leads to a win. I know it was only a 6-point win. I think we all know the score did not indicate the difference between these 2 squads. It was a much more lopsided game than the final score indicated.
It was the top 5 rushing offense heading into the game. They finished with just 48 rushing yards. They tried to run the ball in the beginning of the game, but then abandoned it once they had to play catch up. We're going to take a break, but when we return, we'll reveal how Patriots quarterback Drake May has a little Josh Allen in him, and the best press conference clips are coming up.
When we return, Maddy Glab interviews country singer Scotty McCreery in this week's episode of You Heard. And then later, catch the press conference highlights in Soundbite Roundup.
What's up, everyone? I'm Scotty McCreery, and you just heard.
Welcome into this week's episode of You Heard, where athletes, celebrities, and influencers help us get ready for Sunday. In today's episode, we've got country artist Scotty McCreery joining us. Scotty, thank you so much for taking the time to help us preview this game against the Patriots on Sunday in Buffalo. We know you're a big Patriots fan. How did you become a Patriots fan? You're from North Carolina.
Yeah, that's always the first question people want to know. First of all, thanks for having me. But yeah, North Carolina boy, born and raised. But my dad is from New England. He's from New Hampshire and Maine. So he grew up a huge Patriots fan, Red Sox, all that stuff. And from a very young age for me, I mean, I had a Drew Bledsoe jersey when I was a youngin'. So I just followed my dad and became a big old Pats fan.
Well, it's the first season without Bill Belichick. Gerard Mayo took over as the head coach. A tough first year, but I don't think people thought they were going to come out of the gate and win a bunch of games just because of what they had on the roster, a rookie quarterback. What have you thought about this first year without Belichick as the head coach of the Patriots?
Yeah, it's been interesting. We got a lot of moving parts, and we obviously have some pieces that we're missing. So you're right. I don't think anybody came in here thinking we were just going to, get right back on it. But it's been good to see, Drake May progress. As a rookie quarterback, he's showing a lot of promise, and I think our secondary is looking good. I mean, obviously we've had some injuries there on the offensive line. It seems like now, at least after a year, we know what we have to work on, what pieces we probably have to go make a trade for, get in the draft. But overall, I mean, there's promise, which is good to see, I guess. But yeah, we got some work to do.
You've got a rookie quarterback this season in Drake May. He's got a really good completion percentage, over 68% as a rookie, a great number to have. What have been your impressions of this first-year quarterback?
Yeah, he looks pretty poised, for a guy that has kind of gotten thrown into it and has had a lot of pressure. I think we've got to protect him a little better and give him some time to make some decisions and go through his progressions. But yeah, it's interesting because I was very anti-Drake May when he was at UNC as a college quarterback. I went to NC State. So now that he's with my beloved Patriots, I'm having to lose that a little bit. And he's one of us now. So.
Well, this UNC-NC State thing keeps showing up in Patriots land because you've got Bill Belichick, who, was doing a lot of TV and now moves on to becoming the head coach of UNC. You've got Drake May, who played for UNC and is now with the Patriots. Does it hurt your heart a little bit to know that some of your favorite guys have touched UNC and currently the head coach in Bill Belichick?
Yeah, Bill gave us a lot of great memories. I mean, a lot of great memories. But once you go to UNC, for me, I mean, it's over. I mean, I just there's no more love for Bill. At least not now. So it's tough. I've always said, like, my kid, like, I try to help him go to any college he wants to go to. But if he wants to go to UNC, I've always said, man, you better get a job, buddy, because I don't think Daddy can do that. So.
You got to cheer for the Patriots during Buffalo's playoff drought. This was a team who had a 17-year playoff drought going. Meanwhile, the Patriots were winning Super Bowl after Super Bowl. What have you thought about Buffalo's turnaround from being in a playoff drought to now winning 5 straight AFC East titles?
It's been pretty impressive. I mean, I think y'all have really put a team together. That's fun to watch, tough. I mean, they really kind of resemble Buffalo, I think. I mean, those are tough, hardworking people up there. And that looks like the team on the field as well. And Josh Allen is just a baller out there. I mean, I got all of us on the band on the road. We all have different teams. And there's a couple of them that are like, man, I can't believe we passed over Josh Allen when we could have had him. And so he's fun to watch. The team is fun to watch, and I think they're going to be a force for a long, long time. Again, it gives me hope now, seeing how rough the Pats are looking. It's like, okay, keep moving forward, and maybe one day we can get back, kind of like the Bills have done right now.
Josh Allen in his last 3 games has had 14 touchdowns, no turnovers, and hasn't been sacked once. What sticks out about his play when you turn on the TV and watch him?
Yeah, he's just not afraid, right? I don't think he's ever walked on the field and been scared to make a pass, scared to go make a run, get a first down. And that's what you need. You need a fearless leader out there, and the Bills have got that. I know he's had a good couple weeks because it seemed I'm in 2 different fantasy leagues, and it's been like back-to-back weeks. He's just really crushed me right out of the gate. So thanks a lot, Josh. I appreciate that. But, yeah, he's turning it to a whole nother level right now.
We'll be right back on You Heard. Stay tuned. Well, Scotty, you've been making music since when you were a young kid, making albums since 2011. You have 6 studio albums at this point. What is your newest album, Rise and Fall, all about?
Yeah, Rise and Fall, I mean, everybody always says your latest project's your favorite project, but this one really is that for me. I mean, you're right, I started so young. It's like, what was I writing about when I was 16, 17 years old? What was I singing about? But now I've lived a lot of life, you know, and gone through ups and gone through some pretty big downs, started a family, have a 2-year-old and a wife of 6 years. So it's just writing songs that mean a lot more to me about my life, our life, what we've gone through. And we went to the mountains of Carolina for to write this album. Basically, we sat there for a few days and did nothing but sit around a fire with guitars and write country music, and came up with some of my favorite songs I've ever written.
When you get to put yourself in atmosphere like that, going out to the country, to the mountains to write music, what do you get from doing that?
Yeah, I think it just frees you up, right? I mean, a lot of times in Nashville, I love writing in Nashville and making music there, but it's a lot of times you're in an office and you kind of got like a room to go write in, and it's very schedule based. But this is like, hey, let's wake up. We can write over coffee. We can write late night over a beer. I mean, it's kind of like there's no rules, and I think you make a joke you wouldn't normally make, and you get to think of a line you wouldn't normally think of in an office space, you know. So just frees your mind up a little.
Where do you think country music is headed?
I think it's heading in great directions. I think there's more eyes on country music than ever before. It feels like everybody wants to be a part of country music right now. Artists from lots of different genres are wanting to make country records, which I think is fantastic. And but it does feel like it's coming back to the roots. You know, I've always said country music is real people telling real stories, and there was a time there, you know, where the music got a little different than what I would make. You know, everybody's got their different tastes, but I'm loving the direction that country's heading in right now.
Is there a pop artist or an artist in a different genre that came over for a single or to do an album with somebody that you never thought would be a part of the country world, and then you listen to it and you're like, this isn't too bad. This is good.
Yeah, you know, I'll tell you, Post Malone, I just wouldn't have thought about it, but I guess, you know, now that I've seen his record and kind of, you know, heard more about him, it's like, well, he grew up on country music and his dad playing country music, and that's what he loved. So it was a natural transition for him, and kind of how he did it too, really coming to Nashville and embracing himself in the community. And he just did it with such respect, and his record is great. I mean, there's some great country songs on there. So I think when I first heard it, I was like, oh, really? And then I took a listen and I was like, absolutely, like it's so good.
And it's cool when you have somebody like that who has such a big following, they bring some of their fans over
Yes.
to a new genre. And so then that genre in country music is just growing more and more. Scotty, you spend so much time giving back to the community. You're donating proceeds of your song Carolina to Me to help victims of Hurricane Helene. Why is that so important to you?
You know, I think it's why we're all here. You know, it's not about us. You know, it's about helping others. And you know, I've been given a platform and get to live a dream for a living, and have been blessed beyond my wildest dreams. But and I don't think I've been blessed just for me. I think I've been blessed to bless others. So giving back, especially to the community that means so much to me, is very important. And getting to do things like giving back through the song, or you know, when Luke Combs and Eric Church did their concert for Carolina and Charlotte, getting a chance to be a part of that with, you know, them and James Taylor, and it was Keith. It was such an awesome night, and raised, I think, $24 million for those hurricane victims. So it's just important. It's why I feel like I'm here, why I feel like I have this platform, and you know, I'll try to continue to do that.
That's so awesome. To finish up, Scotty, what are you working on right now? What do you have coming up soon?
Yeah, well, I'm just about to head back up to the mountains with some buddies, and bring our guitars and try to write more songs. So again, nowadays in the music world, you know, it's like you got to keep putting music out. You know, back in the day, you'd have a few years between projects, and that's not anymore. So gonna have new music out next year. We got a big tour with Kane Brown next year. We're going overseas to the UK for our own headlining tour. So it's gonna be a busy year next year, but in a lot of great ways. It's gonna be fun.
That's awesome. We'll make sure that we stay tuned for the latest album release and everything else that you have coming out. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us and helping us preview this matchup against the Patriots on Sunday.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Should be a good game.
When we return, catch the highlights from this week's press conferences in Soundbite Roundup.
I mean, we respect, this football team, and I think Coach is doing a great job, Coach Mayo. And I remember being in my first year. There's a lot of things that are new, and it's a journey, right? So, like it is every year. But we have a ton of respect for this football team.
They have a really tough football team, and we got to be on our A game, just like you have to do each and every week in the National Football League. You have to come with it. There is no off week. The only off week that you get is a bye week.
Different head coach, obviously. Different team than I think we've seen the past few years. I think they're playing really good football, though. I think their quarterback's going to be really good for a really long time. He's making some unbelievable plays, extending and from the pocket, and I got a lot of respect for him and his game. But this defense, they play hard, and they've been a lot of one-score games this year that could have easily gone their way. So first and foremost, we got to have a good week of practice and put our best foot forward on the field on Sunday.
It's a week-to-week league. It's a day-to-day league. Teams shuffle, players come in, things change, energies happen. Guys go down, people come up, excitement happens. Some people are trying to make their name. Some people have a name to hold. Some people have, a standard to maintain. And I don't look at records, and we don't look at records as a team.
I think a winner's mindset, really a champion's mindset, has a certain degree of discipline that goes along with it when they know what they're after. And so that's the type of discipline we have to have moving forward every week. Every week it's a new challenge. Most importantly, our mindset has to be right.
We do a really good job of taking it 1 week at a time. And, the other team, they're just nameless, faces. We go out there and we're playing against ourselves. It's us versus us. Doesn't matter if the team is undefeated or if the team is struggling.
It's late in the season, like I mentioned earlier, doing the boring things, but have fun doing the boring things. It's like free throws. Take as many free throws. Free throw after free throw after free throw after free throw. Keep doing it. Stay consistent. Stay in what you know is right.
That's kind of what it comes down to, just having fun with it and making sure, one, I'm making good decisions with the football and allowing our team to make plays, but two, it's fun. I guess the winning aspect of it is the most fun part, and when you're winning, you're afforded to do some more fun things on the football field.
Welcome back into Buffalo Bills Weekly. The Bills are at home for a Week 16 matchup against the Patriots. It's the first time this season that Buffalo is facing a rookie quarterback in Drake May. While the Patriots are 3-11, Drake May is providing some hope for this team. He ranks top 10 in completion percentage at 68.5%. He's showcased his arm talent and ability to extend plays. With May, you can see that they can build a team around him.
Yeah, I think they found the hardest position to fill with Drake May at quarterback. So now what they've got to do is they've got to get an offensive line and some skill position players that he can truly count on besides just tight end Hunter Henry. That's job one. But yeah, there are some bright spots here from him individually. I just think it's the functionality of the offense that's the issue right now. They just cannot stay on schedule down and distance-wise, and because of that, they're just not scoring enough points.
I've heard Patriots fans talk about the fact that, hey, this guy has a little bit of Josh Allen in him. What have you seen from his game that says he's like our quarterback here in Buffalo?
I would say he's like Josh Allen when he was younger. We remember Josh taking off with his legs when he didn't like what he saw and kept the team on the field, kept the drive alive by using his legs. He will do that, so the pass rush has to be careful with how they rush him when he's in the pocket, can't leave him a lane to escape through. And then the other thing he is, that I remember Josh being when he was a younger player, is super aggressive. He's trying to make things happen in an offense that just flat out doesn't have the horses. So he will be ultra aggressive with his arm and throw balls into tight windows. There should be interception opportunities for Buffalo's defense.
Buffalo's defense faced two offensive powerhouses in the last two games, the Rams and the Lions. They allowed touchdowns on 10 of 11 red zone trips, second most in the league over that span. They also allowed a conversion rate of 60.7% on third down, third most over that span. The Patriots aren't quite on that level. They're averaging just 17 points per game, good for second lowest in the league. How can the Bills get back to being a top 10 team this week?
Yeah, on defense, they just got to get healthier first. So hopefully they'll get some players back in the lineup. That's number one. And then number two, I think they have to get back to being the splash play defense they've been all season long, which has been predicated largely on turnovers. They get one last week. It helps in the win, but they have to get multiples. They got to get back to that. They went 0 against the Rams. They get 1 against The Lions, I think, against this team that's going to give you opportunities, because as we said, Drake May will take chances throwing the ball into tight windows. The Bills have to make good on those, get some extra possessions for the Bills offense, and put this game away early.
Since 2017, the Bills are 8-3 against rookie quarterbacks. In those games, they've allowed only 13 points per game, 4.4 yards per play, and a completion percentage of 58.5%. They know how to make life hard for rookie quarterbacks.
Yeah, and with a weak offensive line for the Patriots, I think there's going to be some one-on-one matchups for Buffalo's defensive line that they're really going to be able to take advantage of.
You can catch the game this Sunday, December 22nd on CBS and Paramount+. Chris will be on the radio with the call, so to hear him and Bills legend Eric Wood, you can listen to WGR 550. The Bills are going for their 9th straight game, scoring at least 30 points. If they do so, it'll be an NFL record. We want to thank you for tuning into Buffalo Bills Weekly. For Chris Brown, I'm Maddy Glab. We'll see you next week.